Welcome back to class, everyone. Guess what? Darman is going vegan. Darman is going vegan. Darman is going vegan. If he can do it, you can. Yeah. Darman is going vegan. Darman is going vegan. Darman is going vegan. If he can do it, you can. Yeah. He is going vegan. And do you know how I know? Check it out. He responded to my video right here. Look at this comment. Now let's get it into context first, okay? On his last report card, he didn't do so good. He got a whole bunch of X's and he didn't get very many good points. In fact, none. Because he didn't talk about vegan food at all, and he basically, in a subtle way promoted the meat, dairy, and egg industries and all of this stuff. And I'm trying to tell him, look, you gotta stop. You just gotta stop. So it's interesting though. He looked at my video and he commented here. And look what it says. It says, I promise I'll include vegan food in an upcoming video if you remove at least one of my X's. All right, so here are his X's. So let's pretend I'm in class, okay? Let's pretend that he's right in front of me. Or any student comes up to me and says, Miss Katie, can you remove one of my X's on my test? Because I promise that on the next test, I'll do better. What does the teacher do? It doesn't work that way, right? No. See, I'm sorry, Darman, but what you have to do is you actually have to prove in your next assignment that you've learned something from this. Okay? There's no bargaining. There's no bartering. I'm very proud of you that you are here, and I'm very proud of you that you're getting the clicks. All right? Listen, it takes 100 clicks until you'll become vegan. You have to get it into your head. You have to understand that being vegan is healthy, that it's best for the animals, it's great for the environment, all of these things, but you really have to get it into your heart. You have to understand what the animals go through. Now, you have to do that by watching certain documentaries. Do I have my little thing here? For example, this one here called don'twatch.org. Okay, Darman, it's only 6 minutes long. You and all of your audience, you should watch this to understand what we do to the animals worldwide and how it is absolutely essential that we become vegan. You have to understand why. You have to feel it in your heart. You have to watch those videos and really, really just let it get to you. I mean, when I saw what they do to all of these animals, I bawled my eyes out. It's terrible, and I wish I had become vegan earlier. So Darman, when you start doing your videos, what I encourage you to do is to really do a lot about learning in the background about what the animals go through, but also, by the way, this is his site here. I would like you to...
Come on, man. We don't got all day.
Oh, let me turn this off. I would like you to really understand a couple of things, okay? First of all, I just explained to you that being vegan is healthy for you, for the environment and the animals. But one thing you really have to understand is that veganphobia is real and it is wrong. And I know what you're probably thinking, and everyone says this because you don't understand what it's like to be a vegan. But you think to yourself, well, veganphobia isn't a thing. That's what people say. I call it veganphobia, and I label it as one word. That is how I label it. And I say the opposite of being veganphobic is being vegan fantastic. So what I want you to do to begin with, Darman, even if you're not vegan yet, is to at least be vegan fantastic, which means that you're not a jerk, you're kind to vegans, and you really try to understand what they're going through, and you try to be supportive. That's the first step. So learn about what it means to be vegan. Watch the video that I recommended, which is called don'twatch.org. It's only 6 minutes, and there are many, many, many other documentaries to watch after that, so this is just the beginning. And then I want you to learn about veganphobia. Now, my suggestion to you for your first few programs that you try to write, I don't know if you write the scripts yourself or if you have some writers, whoops, moving things here, but what I'd like you to do is understand that veganphobia, why it is so wrong, all right? Now, you have a lot of children in your videos. Now, one of the characters in your video could be a child, and it could be a child that I have many students who tell me that they go through this, that they are being mistreated at home because they're vegan. So a child learns about the animals that they're eating on their plate, and they realize one day, wait, I don't want to eat a pig. I don't want to eat a cow. I don't want to eat chickens. I don't want to eat a rabbit, a lamb. I don't want to eat these. These are my friends. Animals are here on the planet with us, not for us. And you see, when children start to understand that, that they have been lied to, and that they were force-fed at a young age, given these dead animals without their consent. They never consented to have these animals murdered. It really bothers them, and they want to become vegan. So they declare to their parents, Mom and Dad, I've decided that I want to go back to the way that I was born, because I was born vegan. I never wanted to be part of this cycle of violence. And a lot of times, what parents do, unfortunately, is they say, that's not going to happen in this house. No, eat what's in front of you. And the child says, but Mom, I don't want to drink milk that's stolen from a cow. I'd rather drink oat milk or soy milk. And a lot of times parents are extremely closed, and the child has no choice but to be forced to have their palate raped. Now, I know that's a strong word, but imagine, Darman, imagine that if somebody forced you to eat a cat right now, how would you feel? Or if you were put in a position where you were at a table and you had no way to get out and that was the only food, and you were forced to eat a dog, how would you feel? You see, this is what these vegan children go through. A lot of times they're teenagers, and they understand, they've done the research, and they decide they want to be vegan. And this is not a fad. This hits them like a ton of bricks. Most people, when they find out what happened in these industries and what they've been putting into their bodies, these corpses, body parts of animals who are sentient, who died screaming and begging for their lives, most times it's devastating. Now, coming out of the closet as a vegan is how I like to put it, because I think it's similar to coming out of the closet as a member of the LGBTQ community. In fact, I think it's more difficult. I know all of you say, don't be ridiculous, it's not, but hear me out. Think about what kind of laws we have right now protecting the LGBTQ community. Nobody gets away with being cruel to them. I mean, if they do, they're shot down right away. Like, you know, everyone has LGBTQ flags, and there's parades, and there are people who are marrying one another. There are role models who are raising children together, lesbians, gay people. We have all kinds of things, programs in schools that teach that being a member of the LGBTQ community is fine. And you know, I was one of the people here in Canada fighting for the law that to be changed so that they could marry. That was a long time ago. So I understand it. And I understand that when you come out of the closet as an LGBTQ person back in the day, it was a little more difficult. But here in North America, in most of Europe, most of the developed countries, it's not a big deal. People come out, and a lot of times the parents say, you know, I already knew you were gay, like, or their friends say, yeah, okay, great. Let's go order a pizza. You know, it's not a big deal. But when you come out of the closet as a animal rights activist, as a vegan, because remember, being vegan is about the animals. It's not about food. And when you come out as a person who decides they never want to put the dead bodies into theirs again, they want their body to be a garden and not a graveyard. When they decide this, and they are forced to put these animals into them, that is the equivalent of rape. It is forcing something into one's body without consent. I challenge you to tell me, what is the difference? This child has no choice, these children in these households. So what I'd like from you, Darman, is to think about the kind of scripts that you could use in your shows, in your different episodes. You could have, there are lots of scenarios that can be talked about. And if you want my help, I will help you to give you ideas in more detail. Just contact me. On Facebook, I go under the name KADIE Karen, so you can try there if you want. And on Instagram, I am thatveganteacher Miss KADIE. And I'm not sure how another way for us to contact one another, unless you find, I don't know how it works. You have a million people trying to contact you. I have, thousands of people trying to contact me. But anyway, so just to say, veganphobia exists. It exists in the school system, with children as well. When a kid is vegan at school, a lot of times kids are mean to them. They wave bacon in their faces. I mean, imagine if you are somebody who loves cats and dogs, and somebody just starts waving like a dead body part of a cat or dog in your face. How would you feel? You would be mortified. You would want to cry. But who do you tell how much this upsets you? You go to your teacher, and your teacher is part of the problem. Your teacher, him or herself, is eating these dead body parts. You understand? It's very difficult. So for children at school, it's difficult. Sometimes kids, when the kid's in the washroom, they'll open up their sandwich and they'll stick in a piece of pepperoni or something, and then the kid will just eat their sandwich, and then they'll realize that they just ate a 6-month-old baby pig, and their friends will laugh like, ha ha, you just ate a pig. And this child is completely traumatized. They now have a dead animal inside of them. This is not something that you take lightly. How is this any different from rape? How is this any different than slipping a date rape drug into somebody's drink and then doing something to their body? It's not right. It's not just like they put a piece of apple in their sandwich. There are moral repercussions here. There are things to think about. So that's one level. I told you about the at home and how some kids, I know they have told me that they have had their fathers say that they will hit them if they don't eat the meat on their plate. I've heard about mothers who have said that if the kid doesn't drink their cow's milk, they're not allowed to get up from the table. So the child is forced to put these items into their body, which are completely unnecessary. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I want you to go and research that too, has clearly stated that you can be vegan at any stage of development. This is another thing you should include in your episodes. Maybe a reference to that somehow, so that kids learn and know that they can be vegan. Okay, it's good for their health. And nobody has ever died from being vegan. You only die from eating badly. You can die if you drink Coke and eat French fries all day and you get no other nutrients. If you do that for a while, that's not healthy. And that is vegan. But the point is that you're vegan. Being vegan means about eating a wide variety of veggies, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, and Dharman, you have such an opportunity now to help us change this world. So an example, as I said, is you can talk about what happens in a scene in a house. You could use some of the teenagers where you have a parent who is trying to force their kid to eat these non-vegan foods. And at the end of the episode, it could be that they're all going to look up, Google vegan lasagna or vegan pizza or anything, and then they make meals together. That would be a great way to end that, where the parent realizes, wait, I was being vegan phobic towards my child. At school, they could have a menu change where an entire school decides to have vegan foods only, no dead bodies underneath the roof or in through the doors. That is the way the future is going to go once we open up our hearts to compassion. So why don't you lead the way? So that's another example. Another one, a third one that I can think of is, and I myself have experienced this in the school system, and I know other teachers have too, is when we receive gifts from different people at Christmas or at the last day of school, will you tell me what you would do? All right, how would you feel if and think about this, that there are certain religions who don't accept pork or any pig, for example, dead pig animals, right? So if these people are at the last day of school, the child brings this teacher who is maybe Muslim or whatever their beliefs are, whatever their religion is, and brings them a piece of sausage, and they know that teacher, it goes against their religion to eat that, and the teacher says, no thank you, I don't want that, and why are you offering me that? I don't eat that. That's cruel for a child to bring a gift like that. Now, sometimes the parents don't honestly know. They want to send the child to school to a vegan teacher and they have some eggs might be in the dessert or some milk, and they just don't know. And so what do you do as a teacher? Well, at first when I was teaching, I used to accept all of these gifts and say, well, it's the thought that counts. But then somebody pointed out to me that in fact, if it really was in that ingredient list, in that cupcake or in that cake or in that cookie, the milk that was stolen from a dog, would I still accept it and say, thank you, sweetheart? It's the thought that counts? No, I wouldn't. What if it was the stolen eggs from a goose, or a swan? Somebody just went up to a swan who was just in the wild and just stole her egg and just cracked it open and made a cake out of it. Like, it goes so many levels deep. Okay, Dharman, you understand? And so what I need for you to do, if you want me to get rid of one of these X's, as you asked, is for you to understand what really goes on. That the prejudice goes on all over the place. And as teachers, if we refuse these gifts, we're looked upon as being mean somehow, like how could you refuse this gift from a child? But what I used to do is I used to tell my students, look, everyone, if you want to give me a gift, give me a carrot with the green stuff attached. It's beautiful. I love it. Buy me a bag of carrots and we'll share them all. And that is what happened when I was a teacher. They would give me carrots, they would give me cucumbers, and we would all share them. And it was great. It was amazing. Kids got to eat more vegetables. I got to give my vegan message. But vegan phobia does exist in the school because the school principal at first was telling me that I had to accept these gifts from the children. He would not support it if I didn't, because he said it would be being cruel if I didn't accept cookies with eggs in them or cake with milk in them. And he tried to bring up this example of somebody who, like if somebody gives him, let's say somebody gives him a bottle of wine and he doesn't like it, he can just accept it and give it on to somebody else. I said to him, but that's not the same thing, because there's no victim in that bottle of wine. It's fine, you can pass it on. I'm not going to take something from a child that has a dead animal body part in it and then pass it on to somebody else. How is that teaching the child any kind of a lesson? How is that okay? Right? So these are all different things to think about. I've given you 3 scenarios. One is a parent and a teenager at home, and the teenager is coming out of the closet as vegan, and what the child goes through. Another one is a child at school who is being teased, bullied for being vegan, and laughed at because this child has a big heart for the animals. That is wrong, and we need to teach teachers to understand what vegan phobia is. And the other third example I gave you is a teacher at school who is kind of forced to accept these gifts that she doesn't want to accept. And also, when it comes to the environment committee, that's a whole other issue. At school, when I was used to teach in the system, we were told on the environment committee that we were not allowed to talk about veganism, even though we know that veganism is great to reduce our eco footprint. The principal said, well, you know, there's going to be too many problems. All the parents are going to call and say, what's going on there? So we were allowed to like make a garden outside as the environment committee, but not talk about having meatless Mondays. Not even that, even though I think meatless Mondays is ridiculous. It's a start, but it's really ridiculous. It would be like saying, let's just be prejudiced 6 days a week, but 1 day a week, let's not be prejudiced. That doesn't make sense. So those are 3 examples. A fourth one I can talk about would be adults in the workplace, where everybody's going to a restaurant and there's an ethical vegan in the group. And remember, being vegan is about ethics. It's not about food. But this person doesn't want to sit at a table with a bunch of dead body parts. It's hard for them. They have an ethical belief. They have a moral stance that they don't want to look at, you know, stolen body parts and pain, suffering. I mean, pigs are murdered in gas chambers at 6 months old. That's horrible. People used to do that to the Jews, put them in gas chambers. We know it's wrong. The Holocaust never ended for the animals. And in the dairy industry, baby boy cows are ripped away from their mothers. They have their throats slit. They are turned, their skin is ripped off of them and turned into handbags and shoes. I'm not okay with it. And it goes on and on. So I don't want to overwhelm you because you're just today getting your second click of veganism. I'm really proud of you, Darman, for listening to my ideas. Just to finish on the fourth one, though, what I was talking about is that if you're an employee at work and you have a vegan, fantastic boss, that person's not necessarily vegan yet, but they're going to say, hey guys, we are all going to celebrate Bob's birthday or whatever, but we're all going to a vegan restaurant because Darman is with us and he's vegan. And if we go to a non-vegan restaurant, then Darman won't be able to sit there happily because he'll be sad sitting at the table. So being vegan fantastic is about being kind to vegans. It's the opposite of vegan phobia. So thank you so much for listening to me, Darman. I hope you understand why I cannot take away one of your exes. You know I can't do it. I can't go retroactively backwards. However, in your next report card, I would love to be able to give you a whole bunch of check marks. If you can manage to do some videos on those 4 subjects that I gave you ideas about, that's just a few, I have a lot of other ideas, then, you know, I will just sit there, I'll watch your video, I'll give you tons of check marks, and you will be helping the world so much. Darman, you have no idea how many sad vegan children there are right there in the world right now who are desperate for a hero. They want somebody that they look up to who's going to understand their hearts. Just be very careful. Don't let anybody off the hook in the videos that you make. Don't say, oh, being vegetarian is okay, because it's not. Because being vegetarian means that you are still paying for the murder of these baby cows in these industries, and you are paying for the rape of their parents who are forced to give their sperm and forced to be pregnant against their will. There is nothing okay about the dairy industry. So don't say that being vegetarian is okay. It's wrong. It's not okay. And eggs, baby boy chicks on the first day of their life are murdered because they'll never be able to lay eggs. That's how the industry works. And again, if you want to know the truth and you want to see what really happens, go to don'twatch.org. I know it's hard to watch, but it's so important that you do. I want to thank you again, Darman, for having an open mind and for, at least responding to me. I think it was pretty cool of you to do that. And I know that you're eventually going to go vegan, Darman. That's why I prepared this shirt. I know you're not vegan yet, but I do think if you do see this video, if somebody draws your attention to it, and I hope everyone can tag him on this, that you will be getting at least your second click. And I don't know, maybe you've already heard about veganism before, so you might be already at click number 50. I don't know. Right? It takes 100 clicks to become vegan. That is my theory. You just don't become vegan overnight because it's too much of a shock. It's going against the entire world. You have to be brave to be vegan. I don't know if you're brave enough. I hope so. So, Darman, thank you so much for listening today. And everyone else, there'll be a bunch of videos popping up on the screen. Please click on them if you're curious about veganism, about what I'm teaching here. And go and give Darman a bunch of love and encourage him to be vegan, and make sure that that vegan teacher says thank you for the comment. All right? Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Oh, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Subscribe. Press the button down there, and there's a bell too. So that way you'll be here to get all the other videos that I post. And hopefully Darman and I will communicate a little bit more, and that would be great. Oh, Darman, I did do a little research on you, and I found out that you had a new baby. So congratulations for that. All right. Bye, everyone.